Shalom, brothers and sisters. So let's talk Burning Man 2023 for a second. If you've looked into this before in previous years, it is a place of excesses, sexual craziness, and absolute godlessness all out. Everyone's celebrating themselves and just no limits and no bars. It's really quite crazy in the middle of the desert, culminating with the Burning Man. So now this year, everything went a little bit south from what they were expecting. Burning Man equals total disaster. 73,000 attendees hunkered down as desert party transforms into muddy hellhole. And this includes the billionaires that flew in and went there, even they were stuck. Heavy rains in the Black Rock Desert, where Burning Man is being held, forced organizers to ban 73,000 attendees from leaving, because widespread muddy conditions created treacherous driving conditions. Burning Man posted on X that all attendees must hunker down and stay at their campsites because a slow-moving rainstorm transformed the desert into a muddy hellhole. Good choice of words there. While the Black Rock Desert rarely gets this much rain at once, the last time it did, Burning Man organizers were forced to shut the gate for several days. Reno Gazette Journal said. The National Weather Service said skies might not clear until Sunday night or even Monday. With attendees told to conserve food and shelter in place, the road closures meant cleaning and servicing of the thousands of portable toilets used by attendees were suspended. So the smell must have been glorious. It's an experiment in participatory, decommodified, self-expressive culture, said Benjamin Vachs. The freewheeling attitude of the festival is associated with nudity, sex, and drug use. Most of the 16 arrests from the event last year were drug possession. The event this year was hugely sexual and deviant, and then came the rain. So, absolutely a bit of judgment coming down on their little party, raining on their parade, literally. And then you look at the next thing. Now we know why it was not a good idea to put up a chapel of Babel at Burning Man, right? Go ahead and mock and see what happens. If you put up a blasphemous 60-foot tower and call it the Chapel of Babel, you should probably brace for consequences. Every year at the festival, they push the envelope further and further, and the perfect society of Mad Max rapidly degenerating. This year, with the more than 70,000 people trekking out into the desert, that included hordes of celebrities, social media influencers, etc. At Burning Man, clothing is optional, weirdness is encouraged, and there is very little sexual restraint. In fact, the Orgy Dome at Burning Man is world famous for what happens there. I don't even want to know. And when I read some of the events they got there, I won't even repeat it. It is that sick and twisted, and that was just their daily events. This year, they allowed artist Michael Garlington to put up a 60-foot tall tower known as the Chapel of Babel. The top of the tower was capped with a spire of stained glass that will fill the sculpture with light. So if we go to Latin, Lucifer, the light bringer, bringing his false, evil, twisted, deviant, sickening light and shining it into all of his disciples and those who flock to his cloven hoofs for inspiration in sickness and degeneration. And boom, raining on the parade. It couldn't have happened to a better event. I for one, am very, very impressed with the way this turned out. Will that stop mankind or make them stop and think or arrest the forward progression into madness? No, it'll probably spur them on, because if you read the book of Revelations, you will see the worse it gets, the more they point their fingers at the sky and curse God, because the madness has set in along with the love of darkness and evil deeds. We, while we are still here, can still plant seeds we can still make a difference, and we can still shine our light, and we can still try and show people how to live righteously before our God. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.